Y'all, it's getting real. The games is underway and people dropping like flies, people crashing out. We got some new games in the cut, and best believe, a brother would have been cool with all these games except one of them, which I'll get into later. But I like the new facets that we got going on in the Squid universe, and we'll see if player number one plays by the rules. But you already know they ain't not on that free time, that free game time. So it's only a matter of time till he switches up and switches out. What's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to DeAndre Way, where we are going through the season 2 of Squid Game episode 4 today. We making our way downtown, walking fast. Faces past, and we home now. Well, almost home. Halfway home. I hate that it's only 7 episodes of the whole season, but not all good things can last forever, if that's the saying. Too much of a good thing is a bad thing. One of the things. I don't know. But it's interesting how they're going to cram, after this episode, we're only on game 2, cram 4 more games into 3 more episodes. Now, of course, the last couple games, it won't take that long just because there's less people. Um, but they took their times in the games last season. They took their times in the game. And this episode is called Six Legs. Very interesting aspect of it. Team aspects. The team games, similar to, I guess you could say, tug of war. But this ain't tug of war. It's a whole, you're really, tug of war, you can maybe pull someone else's weight. This, you can't pull someone else's weight. They have to stand 10 toes down by themselves for you. So this game would kind of suck doing, I would say, in retrospect, if I was doing it, just because maybe I could finish mine, but somebody else couldn't do theirs, and I'm losing based off somebody else. Kind of like Battleship in Squid Game: The Challenge to an extent, but at least, yeah, and I kind of like that, I guess, because if you never get to your game, then you never get a chance to save yourself, and it could be all on one person, as we've seen in this. But I did like this episode a lot, y'all. Gave us a new dynamic to the games, gave a twist, which I was expecting, and we definitely seeing some new elements of what the games are bringing out of people in regards to the storylines. With the mother son, with the non-binary person. It's giving us honestly real life scenarios on how people are being treated based on the dichotomy of how they look. They didn't want to pick the old lady because she's old and weak. It's kind of similar to season 1. They did the same thing with the old man. So that trope is being continued. And then the non-binary person, they're like, nah, we don't want you because they're different. And that's not cool either. But but yeah. So, and we got some funny quirks up in here, but we gonna break it down, y'all. So, the top of the episode, it was the aftermath of the vote. They stay, and interesting, they stay with the red X or the blue circle on their squid jackets. Very interesting touch there. Just to remind people on what they voted for. I don't know if that's like a slap in the face of reminding like who's kind of dividing people, but circles and X's were teaming up on this episode as well. So it was just interesting touch how they kept it on there. Um, and definitely we'll see if they add more X's or O's after this second game. Who knows? But the players get their meals of dry food. Ugh, PTSD, reminding me of our food that we had in there. Very small, not too much, and you need to eat every bite. Everyone's saying just play one more game, just play one more game. As we said last episode, it was only $16,000 split among the people if they went out with the 24 million won, which is nothing. And our hero 456 is telling everyone, okay, the next game is Dalgona. You gotta spit on the cookie and cut it out. And everyone's like, oh, okay, like that's good. And them giving a heads up is definitely a big, big advantage because if you're going in there mentally prepared for something and that's what you get, you're going to be that much more confident doing rather than if you go in not knowing it's the same game, you're unconfident because you were unsure and able to mentally prepare for that. So it's a big advantage he has. Unfortunately, it didn't serve him well, but in the grand scheme of things, he wants everyone to survive, and he doesn't want anyone else to die. That's when he wanted to leave. So he's like, we can all make it through this game. It's not like there has to be a certain amount of people that has to die. We can all make it through. Um, and so the front man hears him say this as well. And so he's peeping game what this man's trying to do. And I don't know what his agenda is yet. I mean, obviously he wants to get rid of 456 at some point, or maybe he's trying to. I think that's too simple of a thought process of him getting staying close to get rid of him. I think he's just staying close to maybe he's gonna befriend him, and then he's still trying to win him over. Like at the end of the first Squid Game, he's like, "You can join us," yada yada yada, and he's says, "If I can't make you leave the country and never come back, then I'm gonna try and mentally befriend you and manipulate you and show you what time I'm on." I think that's what it is. Who knows? But then soon the mom finds out. The mom and the mother son duo finds out one of the girls is pregnant and gives her some food. She can tell. So that's a very interesting factor in there. We have a pregnant woman, and oh, that's gonna be tough, y'all. That episode, if she goes out, man, that's gonna be a tough one to swallow right there. So we'll see what happens to her. And the front man is soon talking to 456 player one and telling him that if he pressed to go, would like to leave the game. If he voted to leave the game, then would everybody be thanking him? Because they'd still be in a bad situation. So they have a little moment there where they're talking about, he said, "I'm sorry for picking that, but would that even been the right choice?" So he's trying to get 456 to maybe think like, hey, like maybe this is the only way to give these people any kind of hope about their lives, because right now they have no hope in their lives. They're thousands and thousands and thousands, millions of dollars in debt, and they have nowhere else to turn. And so maybe this little hope is the thing that can spark some innovation with them in their lives. And if that doesn't work, then I guess basically he's saying their lives are worthless in that instance. But I'm just looking at his point of view. So then soon, 390 finds out that 390's the friend of 456, finds out this player number 388 was in the military, and they have a little fun segment. He's like, "Hey, hey," and he keeps making him like, I guess he was a higher rating officer than him, and so he's making him do these like be a subservient to a degree, which was very interesting. So he has another military buddy. They got both the same tattoo, and so that was just a funny segment. They have a lot of funny segments in this episode, and then we get to the rapper, uh, purple hair, and 320, and he says no 230, and he says he lost 500 million won with the crypto investment to the crypto guy, and he's tired. Like he just goes up there antagonizing him. He then mushes some food in his face and then starts fighting and punching him all over and beating him up basically. And then his lackey is assisting in the beatdown. And look, bro, like I said before, I get it. You mad about the crypto thing, but bro, that was your fault. And these people can seem like they're the ones to blame for pumping up. I mean, they're trying to get the hawk to a girl for the same thing right now. She pumped some mean coin, and now people are off ready to get her head. So I don't blame him for that. But if you dumb enough to like believe these people online who have very little to no credibility, then that's on you. But he's taking his frustrations out on this man, and soon the front man, number one, starts coming up, and he's like, "Y'all need to chill on this boy, or I'm gonna show y'all what real Jackie Chan adventures look like." And so he comes up in there and he tries to throw a punch, and he catches it, and he got the wolf fang fist going on. I was like, "Oh snap!" He gets in and pop, pop. He starts going in. I was like, "Oh, this man's just not the man in charge." But this man's getting his rush hour on, man. He going crazy with it. And he starts whooping both them down. And he takes care of business, saves the crypto guy. And the girl guard, we find out soon, spared the life of the man at the amusement park. So if we rewind back to, I think, episode 1 or 2, when the girl was working at the amusement park, I believe she was the bunny. She saw the little girl who she gave the lollipop to, her dad ran over to her when the hospital or when the ambulance came and picked them up. So she recognized this dude, and she didn't kill old boy. Now I don't think he survived. Anyways, I think somebody finished him off. I think I didn't see him this episode, but we had a little reflection of that interaction, and so there's a reason why she didn't shoot him in the head. And soon, player one says his wife is the front man. He says his wife is very sick and needs a liver transplant, and how he got fired from his job, and his game was his last hope, and yada yada yada. He's making up these stories, and I don't believe it. Obviously, for a second, he's the front man. He's running the games, so he's just trying to pull on the heartstrings of 456 because he needs a liver transplant. His wife needs a liver transplant, and this all made sense to me. The purpose of this Squid Game, well, there's multiple purposes, but they're getting organs. They're getting organs from the dead people and using them on the black, selling them on the black market. Now, his wife, that might be true. She might need a liver transplant, and he's using somebody from the game to get that liver transplant for the low. Is that right to take someone's life to give someone else life? I don't think so. Um, not to take their life. If they die in a car accident or something like that, sure. But just to willfully kill them just to get their organs, no, that's not the move. So that's his train of thought. Like, I'm trying to save my wife, so I'm not that bad of a person. That's, I think, the ploy and the heartstrings he's pulling on. But I don't buy that. I just don't think that's. I don't think 456 is gonna go for that once if he finds out the real ordeal of everything. And he might have gotten fired from his job too. Maybe he did get fired from his job, and then this opportunity came with the games, and it was his last hope. Maybe that story is true, but he's like, the way he's telling it could be taken differently than what's the reality of it is. Like, we're missing a lot of details, obviously. So that was interesting little tidbit there. And soon we pan the guards getting the organs, and they tried to leave some alive to get the fresh organs, but someone was finishing them off and found out it was player 11, the girl. So that makes sense as well. The girl was not finishing some certain people off. Well, she was finishing people off because some people were getting shot in the leg, some people were getting shot in like the side, and they were still alive. But she, ended it real quick with swiftness. She's like, not today. And she soon gets brought up to, I don't know. I don't know how the business of preserving organs how goes. That's not really my area of expertise. But she she's on her own time. We're gonna find out soon what her motives are and what she's got going on in her head. I don't know yet. Don't know her angle because she's going against her boss's orders or wishes. Because I'm sure she got the orders not to completely decimate everybody. But they come and get number 11, one of the guards, and they go through the maze, and soon they pull her up to the head honcho. And the black guard guy, so they got the black guard now. I don't think the black guard was in the first series, it was just the front man. But the black guard with the black outfit and the girl, they go way back apparently. They got some history going down. And he said he's trying to use the organs to save others, but she said if they're going to die anyway, then what's the use? And how ironic. As I said earlier, they're using these organs to save other people that they care about, but they're using other people in the process to kill them because they think it's justified because they owe all this money in debt and they owe money to loan sharks and they might die anyways. It's a very complicated dichotomy. You should not be rounding people up and killing them against their will. That's why we have organ donor on the back of our driver's license if we get in a car wreck and we're about to die. I have one on mine. Donate mine, please. Um, but she's right, though. It's ironic how they're that they're gonna donate the organs of these people when they're sick already, and everyone they're using a life for a life. So basically, somebody's gonna die. So like, what's the point? So that's her point of view of it. I get where she's coming from in that instance, but then she just walks off like a G. And she's like, I'm out. Peace. You need anything else? All right, nothing. Peace. So then we go back, pan back to the cop at the station, and he said his boss doesn't believe him about the Squid Game and all the things that has transpired. So he's still trying to figure out a way to find 456 and break up the game. So they're not making much progress back there. And soon 456 has a dream to where it's time for Dalgona, and he tells everyone it's a triangle. And soon it's a triangle, but it's like a bunch of little triangles in the outside. And I had a feeling this was a dream when I first saw the shape. I was like, there's no way. You'd need a whole 10 hours to get that cookie out without any scrapes. And so if they did have that and they gave like one person one unlucky triangle with all that, that would be kind of funny low key. I would just if I got that, I would just start sabotaging people because I'd be pissed off and petty. But it was a dream, and he's having nightmares. He's been in the game too long already. He's only been there for one day, so he's like, I need to get the heck up out of here. But apparently, the crypto guy, 333, and the pregnant girl are having a baby together. They know each other. And she took his crypto advice as well. That's why she's in the game. And he's like, well, I thought you were going to get an abortion. What happened? She's like, nah, I want to keep it. And so I need the money to be able to take care of the baby. What you going to do about it? And he's like, well, I don't have any money either. So it's a mess. They're both in the Hunger Games at this moment in time with the baby, sadly. And I feel for the girl. I maybe she should have gotten it, but you gotta practice safe sex, coach. And when you're the crypto guy, but I guess he was balling at the moment, so he's like, "Oh, if I have a kid, who cares?" But then when shit went down, and he was like, "Oh, I don't want it no more," might have been she might have gotten attached at that point. So a new family dynamic in the game. We got two ex-lovers, a mother-son. Maybe we'll get another one. Who knows? We got the girl 44 kind of maybe secretly in love with 456. Who knows? But we'll find out the more dynamics coming. And uh, soon we're getting ready for game two, and old boy is 230 is popping. I want to Vyvanse as Vyvanse or as Adderall as one of those two. I'm convinced, but he's making him tweak out a little bit, so it might be like I don't know, Oxycontin. I don't know what it is, y'all. I truly, I'm curious to figure out what the exact thing is. I'm not gonna spoil it by just looking it up. I want to see have the show tell me. But he's popping something. He has a lot of them too, apparently, and it's making him like tweak. And so it's getting ready for game two, and they tell the guards, the rule person tells them to get into teams of five, and there's two big circles when they walk in there, two big rainbow circles, and they have 10 minutes to find teams of five. And so that's the first rules. Some players are mad at 456 because it's not Dalgona. They're all like, well, you said it was Dalgona. How can we believe you? We can't trust you. You're lying to us. You just want to win the money for yourself. A whole nine. So I get it. I'd be pissed off too. I'm like, bro, what you doing? You trying to set me up, coach? I'm out of here. And he truly did not know. But they don't know who to trust and who not to trust. I mean, they just went through the horrible, horrific experience of red light, green light. And yeah, I don't blame them for that. So 456 definitely lost all his credibility points, and he's just trying to make it through himself at this point. And but the front man, number one, says he still trusts 456. Obviously, he knows what's popping, and he's just gonna ride with him at this point. And so the two military men, they killing me and whatnot. They're like, oh, we will find a because it's the teams is the two military men, 390, 388, 456, and one, and they're looking for another person. And they're like, okay, we need one more person for our team. And so he's like, all right, you need to go find someone. And he sends them off to go find somebody. And so we pan to 120, the non-binary person, and they or the trans person, and apologies if I'm saying each one wrong. It's a trans person, I believe, um, but I'll just say non-binary. To people are not wanting them 120 to join them because they are non-binary. They're like, ugh, like we don't want you, and that's pretty ugly. I mean, I don't know the diametrics and the dichotomy of that in Korea, but I could say that if this was in the States, it'd be similar. I ain't gonna cap. People definitely, depends on what part of the country you're in. People definitely are mean as hell out here as well. So it would be anywhere, and it's unfortunate kind of just to see it play out like that. And it just reminds us to all treat each other with kindness and respect, no matter where we coming from, especially if that person's not doing anything to harm us. Sometimes people can feel threatened by other people's presence, and so they naturally lash out in aggressiveness and evilness. But we have to remind ourselves We all people at the end of the day, and what other people decide to do with their lives is their decisions and should not make us so mad that has an impact on ours. It's my TED talk for the day. And soon, number 120, oh, no, no, no. We get the mom and son, and the mother. Nobody wants the mother to join them, but they don't mind the son joining them. And he's like, "I'm not about to let my mom go," and I'm like, "Good for you, but don't do that. That would make me root against you real quick." And so we get to Thanos 230, and he goes to this girl to recruit this girl to his team, and he has this. He's like, "Oh, I want you to join my team. I'm a rapper with purple hair." And he's funny because he has like little words in English he says too, which I don't know. The Korean, if you're from Korea or speak Korean, educate me on this. Why are some words in English and then the rest are not and the rest are in Korean? I just don't get that because sometimes he switches into English words. And I just recently watched like a X video of all his English words in the show, and I'm just like, it's just interesting how it flips over like that. So yeah, just educate me on what the reason behind that. But he's acting goofy as hell as usual, and he gets this girl to come through. He's flirting with another girl. The last girl he was flirting on, she got killed, and so this girl, they're on a team, so she has to survive. But unless he doesn't survive too, but we'll see. Maybe she's gonna be his demise. But they get this shy friend to recruit as well, and he's like, "Oh, you're a nerd." I'm like, "Bruh, you got purple hair with rainbow fingernails. Like, what are you talking about? You think he got a Jesus chain on and he's a rapper? He's not a nerd? Like, chill." Because in the United States, that dude would be looked at a little differently than what he's perceived as in Korea. That's all I'm gonna say about that. And soon, the mother, the son, the non-binary person, the non-binary person, and their friend, and they recruit the prophet lady, number 44, who's just out here just preaching randomness and whatnot. They all team up. And so this next game, we get to the next game, game number 2. It's called Six-Legged Pentathlon. Six-legged pentathlon. And the rules are they will start with their legs tied together with this lock, and each member will take turns playing a mini game at every 10-meter mark. If they win, they can move on. And yeah, they have to finish that in 10 minutes. So the games are dachi, where you get the thing, the paper, the square paper, and you knock it down and you got to flip the other one. Flying stone is basically there's this stone sitting, I don't know how far, like 5 meters away, and you got to throw this other stone and knock it down. That one seems doable, like doable, but you mess up, it takes time to pick it back up. Gong Chi. So Gong Chi is like this game with dice, and you like have it, and you flip it and catch it, and flip it and catch it. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do real quick? I'm gonna look up the rules to Gong Chi. It's a Chinese practice that involves movement, breath, and intention to improve health and well-being. Um, no, Gong Chi. Here we go. Found it. So it is a. Hold on one sec. How do you play the game? Children play this game with the round stones. The player tosses one stone in the air, and before it lands, he or she picks up the stones from the ground and then catches the stone in the air with the same hand. And then usually the 5 stones are used, however, more stones can be used for a challenging game. So basically, they have these stones, catch them. You throw it up, pick it up, catch it. Throw it up, pick it up. I could do that. But then the last part is they have to flip it over and have it lay on the hood of their hand, and then flip it over and catch them again, and then hold them. That seems doable with a little practice. I've never played it. I've never even heard of it, but that's that game. Spinning top. Basically, you have a top, and you got to just make sure it spins for, I guess, a second. And then this last game called Jeji. And Jeji is this game. It's a traditional Korean game, which is interesting. They added a Chinese game with the gong chi. I thought this was Korean, but Janchi is a traditional Korean game where players kick a paper shuttlecock-like object into the air and try and keep it aloft. Um, we did not get to that game this episode, but I don't know how many times they have to keep it in the air. But Yeah, we'll see how many times. We didn't get to it this episode, but those are the games. I feel confident in all those except for Dachi. I have not. I've played that and I'm terrible. But I haven't played the others, so maybe it's time for me to practice. If Squid Game 2 comes calling, I'm gonna be ready, coach, or 3. But they got to finish the game. They must finish in 5 minutes. Um, and every 10 meters, they go to each new game. And so the front man soon slips up before the game starts and calls Jihan by his name 456. He's like, "How'd you know my name?" He's like, your friend said it. Can I call you that?" I was like, "Bro, you slipping up. That's your first slip up." And yes, so the game soon starts and two teams go on ahead. And so for the stone game, they have to get the stone themselves. Like if they miss hitting the thing over, they gotta pick it up, which kind of takes up a lot of time because they gotta walk together. It's like if you ever did a three-legged race in the backyard, you gotta go everywhere together. And if you know one person isn't on the same accord, you're gonna fall on the ground. And you got 5 minutes, so you need to make this quick. Um, and so the dice game, yeah, like to flip it over, and I don't know if it's a specific order too, but you just do it and whatnot. I was confused, but yes, I explained it earlier. And one group did hit the flying stone, but he stepped on the line, so he had to do it all over again. Look, they on this stone game for the longest, and he pisses down his leg 198, and he knows it's a wrap, coach. His group is all like, "Bruh, you gonna get us killed up in here. What we doing now?" He said, "You were good at this game." He's like, "I know," and he's going through it. And both the first groups, it's hilarious this whole like scene because it's massive panic, like massive panic, and it's interesting. I wonder because there's not an even number of teams. Like it's not like I think one team might have 4 people, and if those people get to automatically advance, they didn't touch on that yet, but hopefully they do get to. I'm very curious about that. But it's hectic, y'all. This game scene is insane. It is chaotic. I had to watch this a few times just because it was hilarious and chaotic at the same time because they're just overreaction station. And it's good for the other teams because they get to watch them go and they can to learn from their mistakes. Going first is not never the rule, y'all. Do never get in the front of the line. We have learned that, in all the games. Do not get in the front. They didn't watch Squid Game season 1. But yes, both groups go, they die, and the purple haired dude gives his friend some of his little pills because he's a junkie as well. And the girls, he's like, "Do you want some?" He's like, "I don't need that. I don't need drugs to get me popping, unlike you, junkie." So she's ready to go. And then the players, so it's interesting when they get shot and killed, they like go through them with like auto machine gun, and one of the players don't get killed all the way, and so it's interesting. We could see him still alive, barely. But then once they put him in the coffin, one of the guards come through, which I'm sure it's the girl. If it's the girl, I'm gonna crack up. But he said, "Open it back up," and they open it, and then he finishes him off, and I was like, "Oh, interesting." Interesting setup. And then now it's time for the mother, son, non binary, and shaman lady to go. And it's their turn next episode. And that was it for episode 4, y'all. So, very good episode. We got, like I said, a lot of new games, some entertaining dialogue from the characters, some more backstory on what's going down, and some reasonings that the front man will have in this game. So, we'll see what happens next. I'm excited to see how the teams complete this game and how many people complete it because the rules are relatively simple, but it's just execution at that point. So, anyways, y'all, let me know what you thought about this episode. We about to get up out here. We going on to episode 5 next, and peace, blessings, deuces, y'all. We out here till next time. Have a great rest of your day as well.